All right, guys, welcome back. Oh no, my camera's about falling. Welcome back. Hopefully that camera stay there. All right, so right now I'm using my GoPro setup. You know what, let me see if I can show you guys real quick. And I have a Rode mic on the top, and I normally use my DJI Action 5. Is it the Action 5 camera? Yeah, I normally use that to record with, and sometimes I use my phone. But let me turn this camera on, and you can kind of see. I don't know if you can see it, and there's a reflection. You probably can't see it, but anyway, it's there. Okay, now you can see it. There's the camera that I'm using right there. You see the microphone on the top and the GoPro. So that's what I'm using. But I'm gonna do this real quick, okay? These are some things that you need to know before you travel to the Philippines. Okay. I have like 50 things, but I don't know how much of this I'm gonna get through because I gotta go back to work. And excuse my eyes, I'm very, very exhausted. I feel like I want to take a nap. But anyway, here's some tips on traveling from the US to the Philippines. You know, the Philippines can be like an amazing experience from the Midwest to Southeast Asia. But there's going to be some adjustments. You got to get used to culture shock and all that stuff. And you need to be, I want to say this first, you need to be open-minded. If you're not open-minded to adjust to different things that's going on in other parts of the world and being willing to accept the way things are, if you're not going to do that, you're going to be miserable. I'm just going to say that right off. You have to be open-minded and willing to try different foods and everything. Okay, first one, visa-free entry. U.S. citizens can enter visa-free up to 30 days. Ensure your passport is valid for 6 months beyond your stay. Number 2, e-travel. E-travel registration. This is something like an app you have to download. It's called e-travel. Put your information in there because it's going to generate a QR code, and when you get there, they want to scan that QR code. Now, there's been times I've traveled, I did this process, have my QR code, and I get there and they didn't even ask me for it. I don't know why. I don't know. But anyway, e-travel, you must register at the official e-travel portal within 72 hours before arrival. So remember, you need to do that before you take off or leave your destination. Proof of an onward travel. Airlines often won't let you board without confirmed flight leaving the Philippines, unless you're trying to do something where you're trying to stay there or something like that. I don't know, but I don't know that part of it. But I do know that you need like a return ticket, you know, saying that you're going to keep going. Grab app is probably one of the best ways to get around besides using a taxi, because sometimes you can get in a taxi and they won't turn on the meter. You give them a price, and when you get to your destination, they say, oh no, that's not what we discussed, blah blah blah. Then you got this big old argument against the driver. So anytime you get into a regular taxi, make sure the meter is running. Make sure you see them turn it on. If they don't turn it on, you tell them, hey, turn the meter on. Okay. Sometimes you can arrange a certain price and they will just take that. That's happened to me quite a few times. But anyway, Grab app is the best way to get around, unless you're in an area where there's pedicabs. So download the Grab app. It's the safest way to get around and get like rides and food delivery. Local SIMs. Buy Globe or Smart at the airport for consistent data. Use roaming. U.S. roaming is often prohibited. Is that what it says? U.S. roaming is often expensive. Okay. Gcash is another way you can tap and scan to pay for things. Gcash. Now, I've had trouble using Gcash on my phone. I don't know why. I need to dig into it more, but it's another way where you can load stuff on your phone and you can kind of tap pay, or you use your camera to scan a QR code to pay them that way. It's just another way. But a lot of times I just use my debit card, and always keep some cash on you. Okay. And that leads to my number 7. Cash is king. Outside of major cities, many establishments may only accept pesos. Okay, so remember, keep cash on you and try to keep some change. You're going to end up with a lot of change anyway, and some people are going to say, hey, something may cost like under, say something costs like 100, say 75 pesos, and all you have is 100. You give them 100 and you're going to expect what, 25 pesos back, and they're going to say, oh sir, I don't have change. And sometimes they're really honest about it, and sometimes they're just trying to keep your extra money. And most Americans will be like, oh, go ahead, it's only 100 pesos. So make sure you have money. ATM fees, okay? Expect to pay about $250 per transaction at a local ATM. Voltage. The Philippines uses 220 volts. Most US electronics is 110 volts. Okay, you need a converter through a modern. You need a converter through modern phone chargers are usually dialed voltage. Okay, so as long as I don't have my charger here. As long as you have your original iPhone block or original iPhone or original Android charging block, those have like a converter in it to where if you plug it into a 220, it's going to change the voltage to go to your phone. Okay, do not use no off-brand because you're going to destroy your phone. Okay. What else? Socket types. Most outlets fit US flat 2-prong plugs, but 3-prong grounded plugs may need an adapter. So you already know what that means. 3-prong plugs, you may need an adapter to adjust to 2. But always make sure your voltage can handle a 220. Bottled water only. Never drink tap water. Never brush your teeth with the water out the sink. Okay. Often locals often stick to filtered or bottled water. You can get extremely sick, and it will ruin your vacation for like a week. Okay, it usually if you get sick off of water, it's going to take you a week to recover. Okay, and just keep that in mind. Okay, so number 12, I'm gonna do number 12 when I go on my next break.